So treats help, because if they do, you have to reward every little tiny try. And if you're teaching them to lead and they move their foot this far, you give them a treat and say, that's what I wanted. And then they're like, oh, yeah, okay. I don't do a lot of treats with the horses because they get pushy, but donkeys are so much different. So I'm going to introduce the lead rope to him, and I'm going to offer it to him and see if he wants to smell it. And I'm not going to just shove it in his face. I'm just going to hold it up here. And if he wants to reach for it, that's great. And sometimes you just have to wait and be patient. You want to smell it? You don't care? You don't care? Okay. Can I touch you with it? I've had several BLM donkeys that are very, very scared of ropes. And I think they come from areas where there's a lot of snakes. So sometimes I will clip a lead rope on and leave a drag line on for a couple of days. And doing that does a couple things. They'll step on it, and obviously they're like, but they learn that, okay, when there's pressure on the lead rope, I need to give to that, otherwise I can't move. So it teaches them about giving to pressure. If they're scared of the lead rope and think it's a snake, they kind of work through that without you having to spend hours and hours showing them the rope is okay. And it's just, they get used to stuff moving around and dragging behind them, and those are all good things for them to learn. So I'm going to turn my body sideways, and I'm just going to pet him with the rope in my hand. And then I'm going to retreat. What a good boy. He's got his foot cocked. He's so relaxed. Are you sure you weren't somebody's donkey before? Are you sure? Yep.
Like Nate, the one I'm working with down there, because Deborah's really into blanketing. And she calls me because no one else can get up to him still, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can go to his side, put the blanket on. But if, like you say, the lead rope or something drags on the ground, man.
He's gone.
Yeah. And so probably what he needs is to get put into a smaller pen like this and just walk around flapping that thing. Like, don't try to get it on him. Just walk around and, like, so right now he's like, oh my gosh, she's flapping that lead rope. I'm just going to do that until he stands still and decides this is okay.
And sometimes I thought maybe it was from what they've been through.
Yeah, well.
And wrangled around and ropes and
there is some to that. I mean, this little guy back here, his name's Jed with the pink halter on. He thinks you're going to hit him with stuff all the time, and he blinks and shrinks up like this. And so, I mean, I think some of that is from being flagged in the holding pens. They have to get the donkeys loaded down the alleys, and there's not another way to do it. And so, I think
more sensitive, I think, and not as forgiving or forget.
Yeah, and when you flag the old guy, he turns and comes after you.
Really?
With teeth bared and feet flying. Yeah, he can be scary.
You're a brave girl.
He did really well when I cleaned the pen today. He didn't try to kill me.
He's the 0421.
Yeah, he's like 26. He's made it that long in the wild. Wow. He's a survivor.
Yeah.
He's very small.
Donkeys live a little bit longer than horses. It's not unusual for a donkey to live into their 40s. Anymore with horses, that's getting to be more common that they're living older too. The standard of care is so much better, I think. But donkeys are a hardy creature. So he's doing excellent with this. Really, really good. And I'm putting it over his neck so he can see it out of his other eye. Because like horses, what you do on one side, you need to then repeat on the other side, because just because they know how to do it on the left doesn't mean they will know how to do it on the right. They have to see it on both sides to be able to kind of put that together. Well, you are just something else, you know that? Okay, let's get you to turn. Good. Good boy. What a good boy.
Maybe he's had this before.
Every once in a while you get just a nice guy. It's always such a relief. It's such a relief when they're nice like
Well,
you.
sometimes those ones from Peaceful Valley have been born in captivity.
Yeah. This guy definitely wasn't.
That isn't true with what you think.
Good. I'll switch hands so that I can stay a little more flush up against him. What a good boy.
We care when the 10 came, they were still shivering in May.
They're cold. They were all so cold.
I was worried about these guys. They don't have near the winter coat that Francis and Sven have. They came right from Nevada. All right. So I'm gonna act like I'm clipping it on, and then I'm gonna take it away.
Yeah, he's really watching.
And so donkey tells. So you'll know your donkey is annoyed or about to do something naughty if they start swishing their tail. And if they're nervous, their front lip right here will get really tense, and a lot of times they'll have their ears. Let me see if you'll let me touch his ears. Their ears kind of, they don't pin them nearly as bad as horses, but they'll put them kind of back and stiff. So be looking for those things, because donkeys are usually pretty stoic. So if you start missing signals like that, sometimes you can get yourself into a little bit of trouble where a donkey might strike at you or kick at you if you're making them uncomfortable and you don't realize it and push too far.
So
Okay.
are you using the lead rope drag like that on purpose?
Uh-huh, yep.
So,
Okay, so I'm going to start teaching him how to lead. And when I teach both the Mustangs and the donkeys how to lead, if you start pulling straight away from them, they're just going to pull back. So always kind of pull to the side where you can pull them off balance a little bit. And as soon as they start to move to the pressure, you just let go. Hot potato give, like, you know, just give them all the room and let them think for a second. And then we do it again. And if he were to pull back against me, I wouldn't try to pull on him, but I would maintain the pressure until I got a give there. Very good. Very, very good, Zeke. Licking and chewing. Donkeys don't do as much as horses, but they do it when they're relaxed and thinking, so that's a good sign. Good. Good boy. So you can kind of work on two things at the same time here. We're teaching him how to lead, but I also want to start working on getting him to yield his hindquarters away from me so that when I go to catch him, that will carry over into not letting him have his butt towards me when I'm trying to go in and catch him in a pen. So you lift your hand up towards the withers and pull, and you're going to look right at his hip bone. There. As soon as he took a step, I let go. And what you're looking for in a really good hindquarter yield is if I'm yielding this way, this inside foot would step across under his belly. So let's see if we can get him to do that. There, just like that. That was really good. Look at that. Good. You're a pro. Are you a pro? You know, and I also kind of lean my body forward. Your body language, they will learn to read that pretty well. So he didn't step across, so I kept the pressure on. That's pretty close, dude. We're not going to be too picky when you don't know how yet. But as he picks up what I'm asking of him, then I'll start getting more picky. Like I will definitely want a better crossover with that hind foot. Yep, good. 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 And all I'm asking for is one step at a time right now. The worst thing you can do is get greedy and be like, well, he's taking one step really well, I'm going to ask for 5. And I see people do that a lot. They're like, oh, he can do 1, I'm just going to lead. You got to build up to it. So when you are sure that he really knows that pressure means take a step, then you ask for 2 steps. If he starts trying to tilt his head away from you and maybe take off, like right here, just kind of bump him back. You need to keep your attention on me. Thank you. Good. Look at you. So I do a lot of spiraling, and usually by this point I'll go ahead and move them into the bigger round pen so that you can kind of spiral out in a big circle and they really start following you good. And then if they get stuck, then you kind of move back in closer up to their hip, yield their hindquarters again. Good. And then spiral back out into a bigger circle.
If you were in a bigger area, like I have to, I go down to the rescue to work with Nate, and he's in a great big pen with 2 old horses, and I have to go out there and